Let's now bring in Dr. Hassan Khannenje, the director of the Horn International Institute for Strategic Studies. Dr. Khannenje, the U.S. has confirmed its involvement in the killing of a senior leader of Al-Shabaab, Abdullahi Nadir. How significant is this, especially the impact on Al-Shabaab's operational capacity?
This killing is significant, in part because it takes away one of the ideological anchors of the movement. And of course, this does a lot of damage when it comes to being able to ideologically mobilize the kind of supporters and followers that Al-Shabaab has. However, Al-Shabaab has proved to be very resilient, and I think they're going to quickly restructure and get new leadership to replace, of course, the one who's been eliminated in this strike.
Now, current attacks by Al-Shabaab appear to be concentrated in central Somalia, and that's why we're also seeing a heavy military offensive. It would appear the region has become the new hotspot. Why is this the case?
Traditionally, southern Somalia has been the hotspot. However, increasingly, of course, Mogadishu being in a central part of the region, as well as Beledweyne, they're the seat of power. And so there's an attempt, of course, to delegitimize the new government, as well as put pressure in ways that can create a lot more chaos. Because Al-Shabaab tends to thrive, especially when there is a lot of dislocation, there's a lot of political instability, as well as a lot of room for maneuver. And right now, the combined pressure by the government in Somalia, as well as ATMIs, including, of course, the external partners like the US strikes we are seeing, is exacting a lot of damage on them, and that is why I think they've increased the activity. Not only that, but also the kind of response we're seeing from the citizens actually taking up arms to try and fight Al-Shabaab extortion and violence.
And Somalia's new president has promised to recover territory held by Al-Shabaab, especially in central Somalia. How realistic is this, considering his government is also dealing with various emergencies, such as the devastating drought currently ravaging the country?
I wouldn't say it's very realistic. I would say it's very possible, in part because the current president, I think, has assumed a new tone, and there's a lot more willingness for him to engage, not just with the regional countries, but also with international partners. Of course, he's facing increasing challenges when it comes to drought as well as food security. But these two aspects are actually not mutually exclusive. I think he can undertake both. And with good international goodwill, for instance, it's highly possible he is going to succeed. However, the journey is going to be long because there are no quick fixes in the current situation.
Well, you speak of a long journey, Dr. Khannenje. We know it's been 15 years since Al-Shabaab came into existence. Is it that the group is resilient, or is it that the current counter-terrorism strategies by the Somali government and its external backers are flawed? I mean, what needs to be done to end this insurgency?
It's both. In part, the current strategy is not only flawed, in this manifestation, it's flawed in fundamental, especially the way it was conceived. It is not sufficient. But also there is a resilience with regard to Al-Shabaab. Now, what is important for us to understand is the fundamental nature of the Somali nation has not changed very much. And that is, for instance, the underlying causes, like the presence of ungoverned spaces, weak government, absence of security, lack of institutions to be able to build a viable state, are still extremely weak. And as long as those conditions are going to remain, of course, the threat of Al-Shabaab is going to be there. Of course, the other aspect has to do with the resilience of Al-Shabaab itself when it comes to ability to collect taxes, either by extortion or by other means, but also the ability to work with other international terrorist groups to ensure that they keep filling up their terrorist ranks. And so those two dimensions, I think, are important to be able to address the underlying factors behind the entire situation, to be able to actually have a long-term solution to the Al-Shabaab menace.
Oh, I thank you very much for your time, Dr. Hassan Khannenje, joining us live from Nairobi.